Okay. I'm calling the meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. Today is Wednesday, November 13th of 2024, and this is our regular meeting. What I would like to do, and if the board approves, I'd like to move up number 3, the Canton Township Veterans Banner Project, because we have a special person here. And I know that she probably would love to sit through the entire meeting, but is everybody okay with us moving that up?
Yep.
Okay, so I'd like to introduce Dorothy Wood. Dorothy is, what would we say, the spearheader of this project. So, welcome, Dorothy.
Thank you.
And this has been a lot of work, but she's been the persistent person getting this done. So Mayor Dalton and I were invited to a meeting at the VFW to meet with the core committee of Dorothy, Randy Burke, John Coffey, and David Pearson. And then we've had subsequent meetings afterwards. I've already let the board know that this has started, but now we're at the launch point. So I asked Dorothy if she could be here just to talk a little bit about it. Other members that have joined the group are Heidi, and Steven's been a part of it, Tim Bacon, and Susan Huntley from Rensselaer Falls. So we're at the point of launching this program. So Dorothy, would you like to take a minute just to talk about it? We have something for you though. Heidi's gonna pull up our website. And there you go, Dorothy. It's on the website now. So people that are interested can go on our website.
Oh, Heidi, you're the best.
And click on it, and we do have the packets available for people to take tonight if they'd like. But Dorothy, would you explain the process of how someone that's interested in purchasing a banner?
May I take a few minutes to tell them about the meaningful coincidences that brought us to this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You're on.
So I was driving to see a friend of mine in Wappinger Falls. And as I was driving through the town, through the village, I saw these beautiful banners and I had never seen them before. And I was like in awe of them, like, wow. I turned my car around and took a picture and I said, my first thought was, we have to do this in Canton. But I'm new to the area. I didn't know who to contact, where to go. And one day I'm getting my hair cut and this gentleman walks in and he was early for his appointment. And the three of us got to chatting and he mentioned the word veteran. And I thought to myself, oh, maybe he knows who I can contact. It turns out I told him about the banner, the banner that I'd seen, and we want to do this in Canton. And he said, well, I'm the commander of the VFW in Canton. And I thought, oh, wow, this is great. This is great. So we exchanged phone numbers and he met with his group and we had 2 volunteers, Randy and David and John. And then we formed this committee. And then the second meeting, Linda, our town historian, came to the meeting. And coincidentally, I asked her, where are you from? And she said, Wappinger Falls.
And my father's banner hangs there.
And it's like, okay, that's a coincidence, another coincidence. And then I was at a hospice volunteer meeting. And I had already told our manager about this program and she asked me to explain it to everybody, so I did. And at one of the meetings, we had talked about where we were gonna hang these banners. And we were talking about the decorator poles, which we cannot use, by the way, because they just don't meet the requirements. But we need permission from the pastor at that church around the park. So after this meeting, I'm sitting next to this lady and I happened to mention to her, well, I have to get a hold of this pastor to, see if we can get permission. And who am I sitting next to? The pastor's wife. So after all these meaningful coincidences, I said, we really have to do this. So basically, that's how this all started. And it's been since, I think we started this in March. And we've had meetings and then, subsequently we had Mary Ann and the mayor attend our meetings and give us their cooperation and their support, which we are so, so grateful. And then Heidi joined us. And so it's been just quite a group effort. And so basically, we put this packet together and it explains, who is eligible to participate in this program. In most cities, it's just limited to residents. But as a committee, we decided we're gonna expand it a little bit farther and include immediate family members of residents. And because some of the VFW members, many of them don't live here, but they participate in the Canton, what do you call it? Troop, it's not a troop, what is it?
A post.
The Post. They don't live here, so we want to include them as well. So that's basically, we kind of expanded it that way. And so we're gonna be putting out flyers with this picture. And people will have the opportunity to fill an application and get them back to us by January. And they will have to submit a photo, an application, and then that will be approved by the committee. And once they're approved, we will send out an invoice for them to pay for the banner. The banner, the cost is $200. It includes the banner, it includes the bracket, it includes the proofing and everything involved. And so that's where that cost comes from. We would love to have a fundraiser eventually, maybe, and be able to purchase the brackets, but we're not at that point right now. So that's it. So basically, there's the second page will be the eligibility requirements. Okay, and then the application itself, and they will be either mailed to or dropped off at the VFW by January 13th. Then we will review them and then send out the invoices, and the money then has to come to us by February. I don't even remember what it was, February 3rd or something like that. And our goal is to have these banners hung by the DPW. By
And town highway,
what?
and town highway.
And town highway.
Yeah.
By Memorial Day, and they will hang from Memorial Day through Veterans Day. And then they will be taken down and then given to the sponsor or to the applicant. And this is, this is for veterans living and deceased, living here or immediate family member. Okay, do you have any questions?
Where can the applications be found?
Oh, the applications, thank you. They can be found here at the town clerk's office, at the VFW Post, and at the library. And also possibly,
Online.
And on the website.
oh, and the website, yes. But some people don't have computers, so we were concerned about, if you can't access something, on the website itself, then you can pick up the applications. Okay, any other questions?
So you say they'll go up for Memorial Day and come down.
Veterans Day,
Veterans Day.
yes.
So it's just gonna be a one-time deal?
Yes, it's just basically for 1 year. Now, depending on how big this program gets, I mean, we were initially hoping for 10. But I was at the VFW at the ceremony on Monday, and a lot of people were very happy and very excited about it, so this might be bigger than we think or not, we don't know. And so we do say in the letter that if space allows, then we will put them up the second year. Okay,
So the committee went around and counted the number of
We
poles in
counted
the
the poles.
village that they were looking at and how many were there.
like 400 something, yeah. And basically, we would hang them, by the way, Main Street from the park
Mhm.
towards 310 there, Court Street, State Street, Riverside Drive, and Governor Street. I think those are the 5 places where we would, and they will be placed randomly, now if there's family members, if they wanted to be together, we would certainly do that for the family, have them in a row, or one family is gonna sponsor 5, for example.
In the application, can you request a particular spot for it to be hanging?
No,
Okay.
no,
That would be difficult,
yeah.
Yeah, well, I said, but,
Yeah.
the father-in-law, who was a World War II veteran,
Mhm.
lived right on Governor Street.
Oh,
It'd be nice if it was, right there, but, okay, that's the only reason I
you can make a note,
asked.
under consideration, or
Understood.
whatever.
and then in
Um,
Rensselaer Falls as well.
Yeah.
We'll see how
Yeah.
many applicants we get there, and then we'll focus on that, and then, Morley and Pirates as well, so.
Yeah.
They're wonderful in
This-
Upper Lake every year.
They're nice.
Yeah. I think
So,
that's- I think
There
that
are
is
a
it.
few extra, packets available if anyone would like to take one. Otherwise, we can get them off the website as well.
Trying to think, something come in my mind and I just.
Payment will go to Heidi.
Mhm.
And then it is on the agenda. We do need approval, to open a separate bank account for this because we don't want to commingle the funds with other, counselor business.
I just thought of something. If you're
Yeah.
gonna sponsor more than one honoree, you're gonna wanna have. It's one,
More than one application.
yes,
Yeah, right.
it's one application per honoree,
For,
so.
So are you gonna have those available as a packet and then separate applications then?
Well,
or
if they
we
want,
could
I'll just, as they call
Yeah, okay. I think that's it.
all right,
So we're really excited. Aren't we? Very,
yes.
yes, we're
This
really
is a
excited.
very positive thing and, as we go through other communities, we see them and, so it'll be very nice here.
And it's good for the grandchildren.
Yeah,
John, did you have any questions?
Nope, no question.
Okay,
And what's gonna go on the banner, we're trying to be consistent, we'll have the name, the branch of service. And of course, the photo, and if somebody wants to put, a rank on there, they can do that. And if they wanna put a conflict on there, they can do that as well, and that's on the application, so you just check yes or no, and. So, though we try to be consistent, we also, since people are paying for these banners, want to give you the option of putting on there what you want to put on there. So, so they will have that opportunity. Okay, well,
I just read this quickly, but is there anywhere on this that says that the town clerk will be taking the money? Does it say that anywhere on here? I didn't see it on here, but I just got it just.
You're gonna get an
No, just-
additional letter,
yeah.
so after you
Once you-
submit your application, then they vet it and they,
Oh.
Yeah.
approve
Oh, so
it.
that'll
They're
be in
gonna
the-
send
that'll
you
be
an
in the
additional
letter.
Letter with an invoice that has.
And then, okay, because it doesn't say it
Yeah.
here.
yeah, so we, in other words, once it is approved, we'll send a letter with the invoice.
Okay, and
then we'll-
directions.
And then the
Yeah.
directions will be to
Very good.
return it to the town clerk. Okay, well, thank you very much for letting me.
no, thank you, very
Thank
nice,
you very much.
very nice,
Mhm.
Dorothy. And,
Just wish
when,
us luck, yeah.
when the
It'll
first
be,
one,
this is the first year, so.
when the first one's hung, we're gonna try to get her in the bucket truck. To help out with
Yeah,
that.
okay, well, thank you very much for that.
All right,
Okay, bye.
thanks for coming.
Bye, Dorothy.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for all you
Thank
did.
you.
So Heidi, you do have extra copies if anyone wants to take one. This is a very good thing.
Mhm.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. We have quite a few here. Special budget meeting on 10/9, regular meeting on 10/9, special budget meeting on 10/24, and budget public hearing on 11/4. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
okay. Correspondence, we have quite a few here. The county adoption of equalization rates for the 2025 county taxes, that was in the packet. That is one thing we have received. The governor in St. Lawrence County Fair has requested, has sent a letter asking if towns would like to sponsor a bench at their annual Governor and St. Lawrence County Fair. And we could get the town of Canton on a bench. It would be a cost of $100 or $200 for two benches. This is the letter. I'll pass that around. And if we're interested, it's a good thing. The county fair used to be here.
That's right.
Right
Fairlane Drive.
Right on Fairlane
Right.
Drive. And I think it's a wonderful
Yeah.
thing.
We got that at our joint meeting, didn't we?
I think so.
Oh, did we hand it out? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So is the board interested in us having a bench identified with the town of Canton?
County Canton on it, but I'll put the money in. I'm not big on taking money. I'm not big on doing something. I'll put the $100 in and we'll do it, but put County Canton on it.
Okay. And I think it would be nice to have two benches, so I'll match it.
Okay,
Okay,
there you go.
all right. John, any questions or did you hear what was said?
I heard, thanks.
all right, so we'll get this back and, we'll, send that all home. All right, thanks, Jim. The next item is the Pirates Hydro, notice of the hearing. There's, a DEC public comment hearing Wednesday, January 22nd at 10 a.m. at the Fairfield Inn. And, the board has been sent that. So, that continues, that project continues.
Yay.
All right, the next item is, and I might ask Stephen to help me out on this, we received two letters from the New York State Department of Transportation. The first one is a reduction in a speed reduction on the State Street Road. We did request it be from 55 to 30, and the DOT has approved it from 55 to 45.
Wow. Nobody will pay a bit of attention to it.
So,
How far out did it go?
From village limits to 310.
All the way to 310, the whole rest of the road?
we requested it go 30 all the way down, but they went to 45. And then the next one was, the Minor Street Road request was put in, and, they attempted to perform the field reviews. However, due to the construction, they weren't able to complete that, and they're gonna come back, and do that assessment as well. Once everything's, ready to go, Stephen, will contact them and go from there. Those are
Thank you.
the,
It's so nice driving on that road now. Doesn't go to my house.
okay. The next item is the St. Lawrence Hydraulics webinar follow-up. I believe, Mike, you attended this.
Yes.
It's the flood risk project, St. Lawrence County did, and, Mike participated in basically talking about water and flooding.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to that, Mike?
The project started in 2013. It's been a long process. Started in 2013. And the next was 2016, 2019. And just this last week, we held another meeting. It's updating the FEMA flood maps for St. Lawrence County. This one was the hydraulic studies that were done on Grass River, Racket River, Oswegatchie River, all the rivers in St. Lawrence County. One of the participants asked about the last two floodings that occurred. They couldn't give a yes or no if they're gonna put those studies into it, but they're hoping in February or March of 2025, they're gonna have a public hearing to roll out the preliminary FEMA maps to show people. The nice thing about it is these maps are gonna be countywide, where the existing maps from 1986, I believe Canton is, are on a 8x11 card. And now it's all gonna be digital, and it's gonna be the countywide. There's only gonna be one map. So that's a big improvement. So hopefully it'll be finalized come 2025 after the preliminary hearing and stuff. But it started in 2013, which I didn't realize until we started the meeting. It's been a while, so.
So Mike's been our representative at those meetings, and the first question when this came out, I said, is Canton gonna benefit from the map, the new mapping?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes, so,
In what way?
It's gonna update the mapping where the flooding has occurred that was never on the map. Like portions of priorities that weren't in the flood zone will now be put into the flood zone. I mean, it kind of restricts more, but it helps. It helps more of the insurance.
So from this day forward.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
as far as code and allowing whether
Allowing-
somebody's trying to build in a floodplain or something like that.
So if they're already if somebody is in a newly designated floodplain, that'll affect their insurance then, won't it?
for the better or the worse?
For the worst.
Because it ain't gonna do no good to apply to FEMA. They ain't gonna get nothing.
But I mean, we had one this past year right on the town line in Rensselaer Falls. The individual bought the house and they said it was in the floodplain. And he went to due diligence and it was not in the floodplain. It showed on the old map, but he had to do the studies and engineering and everything, and the house was not constructed in the floodplain, so it's kind of a two-way thing.
So the new map will show that he was not in the floodplain, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Been a lot of work put into it, but still more.
Okay, well, thanks for being our representative on that, Mike, and just keep us informed. The next item is the Division of Homeland Security Emergency Services Disaster Recovery Individual Assistance. The Small Business Association is looking to open a disaster loan outreach center where individuals can go in person to file an application and have questions answered. So we're gonna be looking, hopefully that's gonna be set up in Canton, that Disaster Loan Outreach Center. So that's coming. The last item is we did get a letter from Renewable Properties out of San Francisco, California. Wondering if we're interested in leasing or purchasing the 102.1 acres of our land located in St. Lawrence County. So we got that as well. Okay. And that's it for correspondence. Town finances report.
Good evening. Thank you. Good evening. We are closing in through the last quarter of the year. So the report you have is the first 10 months of the year. The general fund was budgeted to be a balanced spend, revenue equaling expenditures, and it's looking to be that the spending is on target with what the budget was. And so there's really going to be no surprise in that particular fund. The B fund showing a deficit of 72 by the end of the year. That will be a positive, that should come into line with budget. And then going across, the DA fund is somewhat break even at this point in time. That will go into the negative by the end of the year as a deficit in that fund. So just trying to mitigate that to be as low as a deficit as possible, given some of the restraints that we have noted in the 2025 budget. And DB fund, the one thing I'd point out there is that there are $65,000 of unbudgeted expenditures related to Storm Debbie within the DB fund. The general fund has a small amount of Debbie expenditures, Storm Debbie, but it's less than $1,000. And the special district of fire and lighting are in accordance with the budget as well. Any questions on the finances?
And this is from January through October.
Correct, the 10-month report.
Any questions?
I just, when we did audit, I saw where we did finally pay some, state retirement.
That was in this month's bill.
That was in
Yeah.
this month's bill, that's what I mean. And so
So it'll
They
show at the next report.
they're all paid,
They-
just paid once a year,
Once a year, yes.
just for
Yeah.
state retirement.
Paying
So
it,
everything that we approved, what we approved this evening, or what we audited,
Mhm.
that's it.
That's it.
when you pay that retirement bill right now, you receive a discount. It's not truly due until February 1st, but paying it now receives a discount.
We
Small,
always
but
prepay it.
it is good to pay it now if you can do it.
And I didn't. Okay. I should have.
The total of that, the total of all three, no, all
Four.
four funds was 112,000
Mhm.
and something, the total.
Was what?
112,000, if you take all four bills that we, paid. The total amount that's going into the retirement system per fund is 112,000.
Our totals for 2024.
Yes. So what happens is starting in a,
And we budgeted
I'm just doing that here,
two. No, one was budget.
6.
so what happens is we get at least 3 preliminary bills, invoices. And then they said, wait for the final, wait for the final. And because of the market and their investments, it changes. At one point, it was 127. And now it's turned out to be a total of 112.
But
So-
we budgeted way more than that.
We did. We budgeted 157 round numbers. Between the four funds. So in your four funds for your state retirement. Are you speaking of the 2025 budget, Jim?
Yep,
Oh, I was
Oh,
looking at 24. I apologize.
24.
I don't have,
so we budgeted 158.
you know, and the prediction on state retirement for the 20, so there's also an estimated invoice out there for the 2025 expenditures. And they're all rising.
Mhm.
Well, and, but which surprised me because we didn't hear any mention of that in your budget summary. Because you said 112 is our liability for this year,
For 2024.
and we budgeted 158. And we budgeted 204 for next year. That seems like 100% from what we budgeted or for what we paid in this year. We're budgeting for next year.
But remember,
That's-
incomes are going up by 3.75. So,
Yeah,
Right,
I
so the
understand,
retirement-
3.75,
just. I guess we could take a look at that.
well, I mean, we're talking about fund balances. There's a little bit right there. It's not gonna get, if you budget 204, there's gonna be, there'll be a fair amount of money left over in that one. Okay, very good.
Okay, any other questions? Don, any questions?
Nope.
Okay. So, the next item is audit committee.
That would be-
You wanna-
Oh, excuse me. Let's go back to Heidi's report.
Okay, so I have the finances for the town clerk report. Again, we're looking at a 10-year or 10-month rather. Statement, and really the biggest difference in the transfer to town comes in the decrease of commercial solar permits from 24 versus 23. So those are down about 50%, a little bit more than that. And the impact of that is noted in these reports, and everything is balanced and will, or probably has been by now, transferred over to the appropriate accounts.
Okay, Heidi, do you have anything to add? Okay, great. Hi, Eric.
Hello.
Okay, audit committee.
Town A. 167, 671 and 59 cents. Outside B. 111. 895, 36 cents. DA. 24,609 and 9 cents. DB. 556,549 and 42 cents. Special fire. $4,588.83. Special lighting. 305. At $305.23. And TA. $20,543.46.
Okay, need a motion to approve the expenditures?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second,
Wayne.
Wayne.
Mm.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, great. Department reports. Heidi, would you like to start?
So we finished collecting school taxes. We collected 91.72%, which is over $10 million in school taxes, and we just closed out on the 8th, and I'll send over all my final paperwork to them by the end of this week. We were experiencing some website issues for roughly a week. Everything's back up and running, but if you find something not working, just let Sally or me know and we'll reach out to Revise. I have gotten a couple different questions regarding the town code. So I just wanted to point out that in this year, when they did the updates, it was only for chapter 9 and chapter 70. So I've been working on fixing that on the website so there isn't confusion. We did take down the town code that was up there that was uploaded as a whole document. So if you go in, you should see that chapter 70 and 9 reflect the local laws that were passed this year. So hopefully that helps with confusion. And I know Mike has some of this in his report, but we are working with general code to update it. So we have an E-code. So once that's done, it will be so much easier to view, and I'll let Mike talk about that. Yeah, you take that.
Thanks a lot.
You're the main person, but just so people aren't confused, that the town code as a whole did not get updated this year. There was only the 2 chapters. And then I've been busy with Marianne, meeting with Marianne, Dorothy, the VFW, with the Veterans Banner, and that was already talked about, but that's up on the website. I attended the SUNY Possum Local Government Conference, which was amazing. We had, for town clerks anyways, I had AOT, New York State Department of Health, and the New York State Committee of Open Government to speak to the town clerks, so that was really good. Communications Technology Committee, we didn't meet in October. There was nothing to discuss, so we didn't have a meeting. And then I just want to point out that the town clerk's office is going to be closed November 28th and 29th in observation of Thanksgiving. And then in December, we're going to be closed the 25th and 26th for Christmas. And that's it.
All right. Any questions of Heidi?
Yep.
Yeah.
How have you found Revise to work with?
Great. I
Have they
mean,
been good?
this last one,
Yeah.
this week was the longest that we've had an issue, but they're usually typically,
I know that's one of the reasons we went with them, is we thought that they'd be
yeah,
good to work
with
with.
it
Have
being
they been?
down for that roughly week, they didn't really come back and tell me it was wrong, but then when we got back up and running, like, the search bar wasn't working again, I let them know, and by the end of that day, or that next morning, I had an email that it was corrected, and then, the contact us, how do I contact us part where they can email like me or recreation or highway. I did a test run to make sure, and it wasn't working, and within like 2 hours it was.
So they're
work.
very
So they're
responsive
really
then,
quick, yeah.
especially comparatively.
Yeah, it is getting used to though for me with the portal is much different than I'm used to. So like to submit a ticket, it's like, I don't understand why it takes me forever to remember how to submit a ticket, but besides that, they're
But they're
good, I
responsive.
think.
That's
Yeah,
one of the things we
Yeah.
were good.
they're pretty
Good,
good.
thanks.
And I mean, I haven't really had any complaints about the website itself, other than like a few things not working, but people trying to find things. We haven't, not that I'm aware of. I mean, now that we got the search bar working properly again. I haven't.
I think it looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of work was put into that, so.
I think the only thing that we don't really have is the calendar part where we were hoping to sync with,
The chamber.
yeah, it's the only thing we don't really have going at the moment.
I might follow up on that myself.
Okay. Besides that.
You mean chamber having a link on our website? Or-
Well, on
Back
the
and
website,
forth.
we have the calendar so that you can click on all, see everything on our calendar. You can see just meetings or just recreation, or there's a community one, which was meant to link with the chamber to see things that are going on, but we don't have that one linked yet.
Okay,
I'll follow up on that.
all right,
We were hoping.
all right. Thank you, Heidi. Stephen, shall we go with you?
Sure. We finished up the paving on Minor Street Road, so that was all done. Steve Wright, completed it the next weekend after our last board meeting. We have all the edging done on it. We seeded back the lawn, but obviously pretty late, so I don't know if the seed will germinate or not this year. We might have to redo a little bit of that. We still have a couple more projects to do out there. Finding out that the designers promised some stuff that never was in the design, so we're trying to take care of all that stuff. Line striping has been done on Minor Street, that's done. Do have the clear span building ordered that, I asked for approval there back a couple months ago. That's on ordered, and I did, obtain a building permit from Village Code for the erection of that, I guess you'd say. We've got our sand pile up for the winter. Mead Road, we have that paved back where it was washed out from the Debbie storm. So that project is all completed. We did do some other edging on Mead Road while we were there. The speed zone, as Mary Ann talked about for State Street, has been approved by State DOT. Head County Highway, I sent a request to them to do the layout so it meets all DOT specs and everything. So I contacted County Highway Superintendent to have them do the work to install it and everything, just so everything is where it should be. One thing I did not put on the monthly report that I need to add, did submit for the last round of chips. You can expect payment on December 18th. And that would be $71,000, $618.28. And that's the final reimbursement for 24. I did get a confirmation email from New York State that everything was in order and could expect payment for reimbursement on the 18th of December. Anybody have any questions?
Did, you got natural gas put into the new building?
Yep.
Is that,
Liberty did that
everything
back
is,
in-
is that,
Actually, yesterday, all the conversions were done and everything is up and running now and working properly. So the heat in 12 Styles Avenue is all done now and the way it should be.
Great. Any questions of Stephen? I'm just gonna add, we did have an exploratory conference call with FEMA, Christy, Stephen and I. And there will be an in-person meeting next week, I believe. Next Wednesday, they're coming up to visit, to further look at our records and pictures and whatnot, so. That process is moving forward.
Gentleman called today asking,
Marty?
he was going to take a drive around some of the roads that were most severely impacted. He was just asking where they were. I told him I'd meet him. He said he was fine. He was from the area, so he was gonna drive and check out some of the areas and have a visualization of where everything is and what it looked like and how we did repair stuff like that.
And he's our main contact, is Marty Hassett, Hassett. And he was our contact for the COVID as well. We kind of requested him so that we can, he knows the town of Canton for sure. All right, any other questions of Stephen? All right, thank you, Stephen. Mike?
Thank you, Marion. Finally, the month of October was still kind of a busy month. Issued 14 permits for the town of Canton. Project cost was $165. Fee amounts were around $853. And surprisingly, through the month, a lot of concrete work. They finished the foundation on Sykes Road through the month, and a couple projects up on Little River Road were started foundation wise. Boyden Brooks building, the contractor was on site, did the site work and did two poured, one on Tuesday and one on Thursday for his new building. I did forget to mention in my report, I held a zoning board meeting in October. The board approved the use variance for a medical facility on 310 beside the dentist office. So that was well received. Like Heidi said, there's some questions that general code is looking for the town of Canton to answer. I answered maybe 45, 50% of them, but some of them are items that I can't answer or don't have answers for, so, you guys are willing, just, I can send you the link and you can take a look at them. Some are legal, some are to do with roads, some are to do with, work stuff, some are doing assessing stuff, so it's kind of a mix, they're looking for. I answered ones I could answer. And we, like I said, we had that, FEMA meeting, with the county and, several 140 other townships and individuals, so that was a good meeting. So hopefully the new FEMA maps will be out in 2025, so that's it.
The fuel island in Morley, does that come under your inspection or is that DEC or is that?
It is under my inspection,
Okay,
but also the DEC's inspection, because they gotta be signed off by the DEC.
yeah, I got word yesterday.
So I did ask the codes committee if you would meet with Mike and Heidi to go over those questions. I don't know how you want to handle that, but you know, Heidi, when this all first came about, came to me and I said, because there's how many questions? There's like 70 something?
There was about a total of 70 questions, and honestly, Mary Ann, I could send Mr. Brown and Mr. Smith the link and they can go right in and the questions are right there.
The only thing is like, you're gonna have to pull up like each question, you have to pull up what's, in my opinion anyways, what's already there and read it and make sure it is up to date with what we're doing now. Like I went in and answered town clerk questions. Some were fine, nothing needed to be changed, but a couple were not correct. So, but you have to pull up what's in there to see, like when you get into the back end and look at it, it's gonna ask you, is this portion of it right? But it doesn't show you it. You have to go in and open it, read it, and then compare it. But just be careful that you don't submit anything till the end. That's the only
Yeah,
thing. Like,
right.
if you guys are going in, like I printed all the questions, which had a comment section, so I wrote on the paper. So when everybody's reviewed it and looked at the questions, you think all of them are ready to be answered, then we would have to answer it at one time and submit it. So just gotta be careful if you're gonna go in and view it. Don't submit anything on accident.
What's that, Jim?
Then I ain't gonna review it. I would do
However they'd
something,
like to
I
do
would
Mary
do
Ann, that's
something.
fine.
I would touch.
We can print you out the questions
Yeah.
and just
they
give you
could-
the hard copy COPA.
Because Mike, you haven't submitted any answers yet. So,
I just put down the ones I knew the answers for, like the local law on solar.
okay, so you've already submitted that to the company?
Oh, no, I haven't submitted anything.
Okay, all right.
You
You
just
just gotta be
answered it.
careful, like at the end, you don't actually submit something if it's not fully answered, because you might only answer 2 questions and then submit it to general code and they think we've answered everything. You could be careful.
Well.
I'm not gonna submit anything. I'm just gonna write it on paper and give it.
Well,
to
That's
you.
what I
so
did.
is something that can be printed?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay, then that's what I need is,
So you can print the question,
because I should,
but you can't
there
print
shouldn't be
the
any
portion I
oops.
want you to view.
Mm.
That's the only problem. You're-
So maybe an in-person meeting after you send the questions to them.
Yeah.
That's just my suggestion.
You could meet and we could put it up on like.
And then you
the-
could pull it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can figure that out.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Keep it simple.
Okay,
There are
Alright.
some really simple ones, Jim. You could handle. What color book would you like? What color writing? Got that.
okay,
I'm at the
All right.
color outside the lines.
all right. Thanks, Mike. So
You're welcome.
you guys will all meet and have fun with that. Thank you.
Hilarious.
Megan, what? Hi, Megan.
Let's see, there's just some big notes here. I just got a letter from St. Lawrence County Youth Bureau. Their advisory board is recommending $2,000 for our summer rec program next summer. Still needs to get approved by the county, but they're putting that recommendation in, so that's good. Every little bit helps. Right now I'm working on a $50,000 grant to help renovate Buck Street Playground. Lee sent it over my way. It's through T-Mobile. And if I have a lot of community members that are doing letters of support, if anybody here wants to do one, you're more than welcome to do it.
I would love to.
I am asking that you submit it before Thanksgiving. That way I have time to do the whole application before it's due by the end of the year. One of our part-time laborers resigned, but for a good thing, he got a full-time position at one of our local schools, which is great for him. And last night we had an interview, and it was a unanimous decision to offer the position to Mark Smith. That will be approved at the village board meeting next week. So I'm really excited about that. He's a Canton Meyer hockey parent. He's a coach. Already has a full-time job, and he's looking to help out, and he seems like he wants to do it long-term, which is nice. And he's a good person in the community, so that's good. Everybody knows the pavilion was painted by Greg Howe. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. It was crazy. But yeah, he did that. That was a huge group effort. Canton Minor Hockey, St. Lawrence Figure Skating Club, they organized all the volunteers to scrape the building. It's a big building. Dave and Kate Parker, they supplied the paint for us, so that way we got contractor rates. Both Canton Minor Hockey and Figure Skating are donating funds to help pay for the paint. And obviously Greg's services were free. But he skated at that building since it's been built. So it was a special project for him. Tree committee last week was Big Tree Day. I was able to organize an FYP program through St. Lawrence. This is the second time that they've come to us. Same class, different kids, obviously, and different professors. I hosted them first in the springtime. They went out to Remington Trail and they did all our spring cleanup at Remington Trail. They did it all in 2 hours. It was 40, 50 kids. They just knocked it out of the park. And we hosted them at Bend in the River to do tree maintenance, and they did a fantastic job. Let's see here, what else we got? Tim Applenap, another volunteer. He did a community project application in the spring to campaign for new lobby chairs in the pavilion. Those have all been sold to local businesses or local people in the community. And him and we went out to Mike Stroby's today and selected the plaque to go on the back, where it's gonna commemorate all the people that basically sponsored a chair, that's really nice. And yeah, all my ice revenues for October, they'll be submitted for next month, so that way you guys can see that. I did put on there that we had our best month ever hours wise through Canton Minor Hockey. Ryan Hayes is the new president, and he's also the scheduler, and he's really made a point to really keep our schedule full. So that's really nice. And yeah. Anybody have any questions? Fire away.
Any questions or comments? Megan, if you could send me the information, I'd be glad to write a letter of support. I'm sure the board will support a letter of support. Okay. Linda.
Yes, my report got done today because I didn't go in my emails. I was at the veterans thing on Monday. And
Can everybody hear her?
And yesterday was busy. And today was busy. A couple from Ogdensburg, natives of Ogdensburg, but he went off and went to Brazil and married his wife. And he came in and he heard about the advertisement. I said, that's gonna be different now, right? You put another ad in.
North Country this week, made an error putting that advertisement in early. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it will be resubmitted this week.
And he belongs to one of the families in Ogdensburg and friends with the Knowles. So he had a very interesting conversation too. So I was able to do my least amount of monthly report. No pictures. I just couldn't do it today, but in December, you will have my history as the historian. Because when I think about it, man, we did a lot. And it's gonna be hard for me to leave, I have to tell you. But I have told Mary Ann that I would offer to come in to whoever gets hired and give them a day. And make sure they can get around it all And Rennis also will do that because she knows the history in that building more than I do sometimes, because she's local. She came to me, she says, my husband died, I don't want any money, and I want to work. That's when she came to me, and she's still doing it. I mean, I can't stop her. So, and then today, what else happened? Oh, my one St. Lawrence kid came in. He's working, he's from Taiwan. And he's doing the project on how did Canton first get its name, and that was easy to find out. But I gave him the history, how Canton was founded, because it was trading with Canton, China. And he's done a wonderful job, and he has presented when the Christmas vacation comes. His family lives in Utica. They were all orphans, and they came over and they ended up in Utica. And I've learned a lot from him. And the other St. Lawrence girl, she's from Rochester, and she's working with the professor at the county home graveyard. And I have to ask Jimmy if we can drive down a day. She wants to see the graveyard. She's a sophomore. And she worked with Mindy Petrie. She wants to see that one keystone that has the name of the little boy on it. She's done an amazing job.
They haven't got a picture of it. So there was apparently there was a high school project regarding
recently?
local cemeteries, just locally. I got home one night, there's two kids sat in a car. I didn't know who they were. And I looked, I says, is there a problem? We're waiting for a couple of our buddies. I says, yeah, well, what are you and your buddies gonna be doing? Well, he says, we gotta find a cemetery back here. I says, that ain't hard. I said, just go down the road. I said, you'll follow the track. And so, as it turned out, I saw him. I went to a soccer game. I run onto the two guys. They were working a concession stand. I said, how'd you make out at the cemetery? Oh, he says, that wasn't good. He said, part of our project, we were supposed to identify whether it was, the gravestone, whether it was male, female, date of birth.
There's no
There's-
gravestone.
There's one marked grave back there, and it's only that one of that,
Yes.
that young boy.
Yeah,
Yep.
I enjoyed working with Mindy Petrie,
Mm.
and this girl continued with Mindy. And, yeah, the St. Lawrence, I've had St. Lawrence students. I want to start now in the high school on the, thing that they used to have for students to do, and I had two. And we sent them to businesses, and I had them, and it was Frank, he became what he wanted to do. And I'm going back to the high school teacher now. We're gonna start that program over. So it still goes on, and I can't wait to see how I'm really gonna feel on the end of this. Not gonna be easy at first, but my family has been at it for the last 2 years. Mom, you're 77, and we need to see you more than we've seen you in the last 32 years.
It'll be easy when they change the locks.
But I will.
Okay,
work for-
anybody have any
Okay,
questions?
well, I thought of that. Who asked me to come and work for them? Connie. Wilton Tree asked me, and, I might go back to officiating the track meets. I got my
There you go.
jackets, I found them.
There you go.
They were locked in that locker in the room, in the St. Lawrence.
If you get both, just turn down, I'll put it to work.
Okay.
There you go. All right, any questions of
I wanna
Linda?
tell you, Dennis Barr will continue to take pictures if need them, and I'm looking at the mails are still up here. So I will be putting pictures in here again. They're all here. I'm just looking at them. I can count them. So
Okay,
I will be.
all right. Well, you have one meeting left, so we still have
That's
December. to
gonna
get
be a
through.
long one, because she has our open house on December 7th. Is a Saturday, and Rennis has typed up 22 businesses on Main Street and side streets. And she's putting them in, plastic now, not plastic, archival sleeves, and people are gonna come in and talk all about all the businesses. That's gonna be a fun day, because, they're gone, but a lot of the people that are coming will remember them. So that'll be a nice open. And this is my book, 5 years of historian work, because we found these when we moved boxes. And everybody signs when they come in. Once in a while, I'll miss one. But you gotta see the people that have come through the historian's office, just the two upstairs. But now the last 2 years are in here. And it's amazing who comes through that building. and I hope to help.
Okay. All right, any questions, comments? All right, thank you, Linda, appreciate
Okay, no
it.
questions, anybody?
Cindy's on.
Yes,
Zoom.
hi.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, good
Looks like-
evening.
Are you on a beach?
No, that's my hometown. I grew up there. That's Rockaway
Oh.
Beach. See, I lived in one of those buildings and the beach was right across the street.
Okay.
Okay.
Wappinger Falls is it?
No, we had a water.
All right, Cindy.
Okay, I did have to mention there was an error on my report. I'm sorry, made an error. But I'm confessing, the people that are turning 65, they have to be 65 by December 31st, 2025, not 2024. So if you are turning 65 as of that date, you can apply for the enhanced star exemption if you're receiving the basic star exemption. The people that are turning 65 December 31st, 2025, that are receiving the basic star credit, it's automatic. The state will give them the enhanced star credit as long as they are income qualified. That was the correction. Sorry about that. Also, the data collection is going strong. We're dipping into the 300 numbers. Minor Street was done, Eddie Pirates Road, and Northwoods Road since I wrote this report. Since November 1st, that those streets have been taken care of. Been cleaning up my office, getting the deeds out of the folders. A big project, but it's able to get back into the files and everything. Also, I'll be mailing out the agricultural exemptions and the nonprofit exemptions at the end of December. So look in the mail for that, and that's due back March 1st, 2025. Please no later than that. That's the deadline, March 1st, 2025. And again, the state, the income has gone up for the enhanced star, and it went up to, if your 2023 adjusted gross income was up to 107,300, then you're eligible for the enhanced star. And I believe that's it. Anybody have any questions?
Any questions? Okay, no questions. Thank you, Cindy.
Okay.
Okay. And we did get a dog control report as well as the chamber. Lee needed to leave early. Her report's in the packet as well. Okay, so I need a motion to accept department reports.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Carried. All right, committee reports. Anyone like to start? Okay, I will. Sustainability Committee, we met again last night, and I sent this to the board. There is a PowerPoint done by Eric Backus on changing climate, the changing water resources and building impacts. They're looking to gather as much information on the science and the data of what water does to us. Let's see. There is a food security roundtable tomorrow. I believe that's at St. Lawrence. They've been working on getting Potsdam sandstone. Mike Iverson, he contacted Assemblyman Scott Gray because the buildings in Ogdensburg have being torn down. And there's a lot of Potsdam sandstone there. So this committee's been advocating that it doesn't get thrown in the landfill. That people may be able to get it. So they've been working on that. One other item that they're working on is to do a repair fair. And they are looking at doing it at the pavilion, I believe in late late April or early May. And so they're just looking at a date and
Most
maybe
likely May. May, most likely.
What's a repair fair?
a repair fair
Pretty
is to
neat.
have, people that know how to repair things. Say you have something broken, you can bring it to the repair fair and it will be fixed for free, depending upon what it is.
You got a rear main seal gone in your Kia.
That's fixed.
Oh, okay.
So they are looking for people that know how to repair things
Traded that.
to volunteer. So, you know, Jim, if you wanna help fix something, you know, first
I'm not a
people,
fi- I'm not a fixer.
you're not a fixer,
Just
okay.
bring the whole staff of Lottens over, he'll be good.
Not anymore, not anymore.
So, all right, you two. So what else?
Committee meeting.
Let me see. So the committee has also met with Barb Beekman and Anna Sorensen to develop a task force in Canton regarding the flooding and to have conversation about what can and can't be done and the money out there. The village did get a report from Barton and LaJudas on what the capacities are. And that's about it from the Sustainability Committee. Other committees?
Well, the Complete Streets didn't make it to Veterans Day, so they'll meet again the second Monday in December.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, the county had a broadband meeting today that I was unable to attend. But we did receive an email earlier today telling us what was discussed. So I'm hoping everybody had a chance to look at that.
Okay. Did you forward that to the board, John?
Actually, it went to the entire board, I believe.
Okay,
don't
I thought it was
remember-
just you and I and
I don't think
Anna.
I don't remember seeing
I
it.
do have copies,
Was it
In
just
my
you and I and
office.
Anna? I'll forward it right now then.
okay. And I did make copies, for the board, but they're in my office. Okay? Any other committee reports? All right, great. Thanks, everybody, for all your work. There is no old business, new business. First item on the agenda is to acknowledge the resignation of historian Linda Casserly to retirement.
My family would do it.
Her family made her do it. Oh, let's put that in the minutes.
And my age.
So Linda's last day, is December 20th.
Mhm.
We are looking to have some type of celebration. We just need to find a date that she's available. So Linda, on behalf of the town of Canton, thank you.
32 or 40.
So you were, you started while you were, deputy town clerk.
I started on a grant.
You started on a grant as deputy town clerk?
No,
No, okay.
there's a grant doing the vault downstairs. Jimmy used to be down there. Remember when I was down there doing all those boxes? And Dennis Farr is gonna come over and help get rest of
Okay.
in there.
Let's focus on your timeline though,
Yeah.
real quick. And then you became deputy town clerk,
Yes,
and then you became historian in 1995,
90.
you said? So you've been with the town for,
I was the deputy clerk and tax collector.
and tax collector.
And then Ann Ryan appointed me historian. I thank her every day.
Okay, and she was the supervisor for one term
Yes, she
way
was.
back, yeah, yeah. So
No.
total of how many years?
Did I put
34?
32 or 34, 34.
I thought you said 34, so, yeah,
And I loved all my jobs. When you
Good.
walk down Main Street, when you work that long here, it's a wonderful feeling.
so congratulations. We wish you well.
Then after.
You've done a
I
fantastic
will be
job.
around helping in the
Rec department.
yes. No, I about that today, whoever they hire, if they need help, I'll volunteer,
Mhm,
because did I have help?
mhm.
No, I just got put up on that second floor and I hit everything under people's desk.
So,
We had to
um,
kick, I remember, we had to kick the county chamber out, so.
Oh
and-
my
and-
God.
And then go dig everything out of a locker, out of a storage locker out at U-Haul.
Charlie Nash was the attorney.
No, he wasn't. Dick Dudley was.
Okay,
Dick Dudley
I don't
was?
remember Dick Dudley, Charlie Nash was gonna put the chamber on the Main Street.
But all the archives were in a storage unit?
Huh?
All the record, everything that,
It was saved.
All the collection was, I think the records were down in the basement, weren't they? Were they in the,
Yeah,
records were down in the basement, all the collection was in a storage unit out there. I think the canoe was up at the pavilion, wasn't it?
wasn't it at, around that building that's near the pavilion? Wasn't it stuck
Oh,
in there?
maybe.
Water department, the
Yeah.
old water plant.
Might have been there, but that, cause that wasn't out. And that, we had to look for a while to find the canoe, but,
Yeah,
and that was not,
that was that one, man.
so who was the,
It was that one, man, that canoe in, Vandewater. They paid.
Peter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They paid for it to be
who
sold.
was the, do you remember the gentleman's name that was the chair of the county chamber? I know,
I don't have that one.
I don't think he ever spoke to me again after we kicked him out.
Oh, oh, okay, now I remember. Yeah, they put him on the street and they got an attorney. And they said they're gonna charge us with some kind of
All right,
something.
all right, we probably shouldn't talk about that.
But they put the stuff
But
in the.
it is history, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you've had,
Malcolm McCormick,
They were good old days.
you've had quite the journey.
yes.
They were-
They were great.
Tom's writing it all down. It was a good story. It was a good story.
They were
They
wonderful
kicked out the
guys.
county chamber.
They were gonna put all their stuff on Main Street. They were wonderful jobs. I loved every one of them.
I hear the story.
We can sit here all night talking about everything and,
Oh.
Yeah.
but we still have one more board meeting and we're gonna have a celebration in your honor and, I know you don't want that, but oh well.
I'm doing something December 7th.
Yeah,
It's-
December 7th, you're
it's
having an open
Saturday,
house, but
and-
it's not a celebration of you, it's an open house.
No, it's gonna be
Um,
looking at all.
Just a
the-
general open house, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
and all the pictures of those businesses rented right now, put them in, plastic, our thing.
And what time is that gonna be on the 7th? Do you know yet?
Probably noon to 3.
Noon to 3,
Mhm.
okay,
A Saturday one, so people will come.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Linda, and we
Well,
wish you well, but, it's not over yet, so.
It was my life, and my kids were getting tired of me at 77, still working.
Okay. And you have big plans after your last day.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mariah.
that's
taking
great.
The whole family.
That's great. Okay, anything else regarding this? All
We must have
right,
Done something wrong at some point.
all right, thanks again, Linda. All right, number 2, at our December meeting, we have about 13 or 14, town employees that have been with the town, over 5 years. So I would like to recognize them with the 5 to 10 year award, 10 to 15, all the way up to 30, 35 maybe. Just recognizing our employees and for everything they've done. So, I'll be
Only
looking
5
to do that on at the December meeting. You know, we have a
You give
wonderful
out
staff.
nice Posters.
What?
You gave out nice things when I reached 30 years, I think, or
Yeah,
25.
when I was mayor, yeah, it's a
all
good thing. Okay, Canton Township Veterans Banner Project. I need a motion for Heidi to, open a new bank account for this particular project.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Hmm.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Hi.
all right. So Heidi, you can go ahead and do that. The next item is set the year-end meeting and the organizational meeting. So looking at the year-end meeting, it's hard with the holidays and it's also gonna be payroll that Christmas week. So, I was, thinking of the 30th at 10 a.m. It's a Monday. Any thoughts on that, board members? It's just to pay any outstanding bills that we couldn't get paid. I'm gonna ask the departments to, make sure that they have their bulk done by our December 11th meeting. And that year-end meeting is for any follow-up. just to approve outstanding bills. So is everybody good with that Monday at 10?
Sure.
John is,
Works for me.
okay, all right, and then
Well, depends how good I'm playing.
the organizational meeting. We had it last year before our regular board meeting.
Which makes sense.
So our regular board meeting is scheduled for January 8th.
It's as early as you can have it, so.
I was thinking, can we maybe postpone it for a week? Just because, it is coming off of vacation.
Won't we run
In
to
New
the
Year's?
village?
What's that?
Isn't it the village then? Third one is the village, isn't it?
The 14th is a Tuesday. But Heidi, you were gonna check and see if you were available too.
Yeah, I just haven't heard back, but there's possibility.
I'm sorry?
I just haven't heard back yet.
Okay.
So,
All right, so maybe we can look at that in December again.
So you're thinking of the 14th is what you're saying.
That's because it gives us a week to breathe. And, you know, we had a payroll in there as well. So if we could just think about that and then we'll set it at the December meeting.
What about maybe having the December meeting at 5 o'clock instead of 6? What goes on
Having this December meeting at 5?
instead of 6? Just throwing it out. If anybody's interested. I mean,
Heidi, are you
the
available? at
regular
5?
board meeting, are we talking about the December 11th meeting?
regular board.
Have it at 5?
It's,
That's
I mean, it's not like agenda's gonna be loaded with a whole bunch of stuff.
No, it shouldn't be.
And so, and then at our organization meeting, we'll be setting time and date for, for regular board meetings for the year anyway, so
Mhm. Is everybody good with that?
make a
John's
motion.
shaking his head. So
I'll make a motion to have the schedule the December meeting for 5 PM.
is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
carried. Okay. The next item on the agenda is the 2025 budget. We've had 3 working sessions. There is a preliminary budget out there. We did have a public hearing. There was no public comment. So I'm opening up if a board member wants to make any changes to the current preliminary budget. You have to make your motion as to exactly what you want to change as far as expenses, and then there has to be a vote on each item to change this preliminary budget, and then it has to be documented in the minutes. So is there any discussion or changes that the board wants to make?
I'm not gonna make a motion on a change. But I am a little disappointed that at the last budget meeting,
You just
I
put the
thought,
bullet.
I thought there was an understanding that when you and Angela worked on the budget, that if there was gonna be any significant changes to highway, that the highway superintendent and John and I would be notified. And that didn't happen. Went ahead, you put the budget together, and what started out at the beginning of the budget session, back when we had our first meeting, we had 900,000 in construction and a new employee. The next budget meeting was the understanding that, well, that was just a mistake, that it was gonna be one or the other, so make up your mind. And so committee talked about it at that budget session. Stephen's input. Stephen said, really could use another employee, but we need to put blacktop on the ground. And so, because we had 900,000 in construction, it was gonna get rolled back to 800. So with putting the 116,000 for the employee onto the construction line, it was going from the 800,000 that got rolled back to 916. And then we worked on it. And we didn't get the opportunity to discuss it. That got changed from 916 to 860. And that's what we got handed, and
To 860.
860. And so what originally was gonna be an extra 100,000 for construction and a position turned out to be an increase of $60,000. And so that was, I thought we had a better understanding about how that was going to move forward, but again, the budget is done. It got sent out to everybody. Heidi ended up with it. It got out to the public. I said, rather than change it now, I'll just say, I don't forget. I'm very good at that. And so that was one thing that bothered me a little bit. And that's why I started looking at, again, this is all this discussion on fund balance and fund balance. We're eating up fund balance. Well, right there on just retirement alone. You know, what's going on? There's $100,000 that anybody else might say it's just hidden in the budget. But is it? And the same with, you look at health insurance. In the narrative that you gave us, you said that the regular health insurance was going up 4.5%, retirees is going up 25%. And that's what you were recommended that go in the budget. Retirees didn't go up 25%, they didn't even go up 10%.
It
And
went
you
up to
actually-
14.5, Jim.
And you actually.
It went to
You went from
14.5.
52,000 or something, 51 to 58. But anyway, and then you actually have less money in the 25 budget for health insurance than's in the 24 budget. And so you certainly didn't increase there. And it appears that the numbers I'm looking at, it appears that there's maybe 40,000 extra in health insurance anyway.
We had the budget for a potential person coming in for a family plan, which is about $39,000.
But that got taken out of, that got taken out of there. But I mean, you budget for it. So when you took away the position, you would take that out.
No,
So
this was when then we have a person that resigned. So with a new person coming in, we had to budget for the potential of a
Right.
family plan.
okay, but you didn't, because the budget figure for 24 appears to be higher than the budget figure for 25, unless I missed something. Unless they're in places other than the 4 places in A, B, DA, and DB. And the numbers that I added up that were budgeted, whatever, come up to, I got them down, but it seemed like it were actually less. And looking at what we have spent through the first 10 months, if I use that average over a 10-month period, then it appears that we're gonna be like, there's like 30 to 40,000 left in the budget for health insurance for 2024. Plus the additional sales tax. And so you take all those things, and then it just upsets me a little bit that 60,000 got taken away from highway. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, anybody else? John?
He pretty much covered it.
Okay, with that being said, then I need a motion to adopt the 2025 budget. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Right? Any further discussion or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
I,
carried. All right, the next item on the agenda is public comment. This is the time for us to listen. Is there any public comment?
Excuse me, Marianne. Toby Irvin, Irish Settlement Road. I just want to clear up what may be some confusion about the broadband committee and the meeting which happened today. I know that John talked about forwarding some email, but I just want to be sure that we get the record tonight if possible. There's a serious problem with time running out on approving the only town, Canton, signing off on the ability of SLIC to do the work under the ARPA contracts. That urgency has gotten confused and married to the lack of a current franchise agreement. Important as it is, but the two issues are in conflict. We are running up against a deadline where the federal government and the county legislature can pull that money back from supporting the projects, and town of Canton is the largest lot of unserved people in all of the county. So at the meeting today, Kevin Lynch, the CFO, and Dakota Casserly talked about the urgency of what we're facing and trying to find an appropriate solution that honors the necessity of a franchise agreement and the appropriate public hearing attached to it, which could be months down the road. It can't happen in a timely fashion before the St. Lawrence County Operations Committee on the 25th of November considers the contracts that are out there and what to do. They have to do something with the expiry of the contracts by December 31st. Kevin, who has, in my mind, has the authority to say what he can do, and he's perfectly willing to operate under the expired franchise agreement with respect to right-of-way work. Other items are irrelevant to the deadline. He's perfectly willing to negotiate in good faith in a timely fashion after these current matters are taken care of. So I sent you an email very late in the day, which you may or may not have seen, but I wanted to be sure that you all had an opportunity to hear that we have a problem here with a lot of money and a lot of constituents being in jeopardy of losing their ability to get new services from SLIC. So the ability to bring this to conclusion, it seems to me, as a computer person and a lay person who's been on the broadband committee for 2.5 years, that the maps that Dakota has forwarded would show exactly where burial is considered on the right of way. And that's really the only physical question, where you're going to bury on the right of way. Those maps outline exactly what SLIC intends to do. What goes on the poles is irrelevant to the right of way. The poles are where they are, and that's approved by others in Albany. Has nothing to do with town approval. So I would respectfully ask that you give some urgency to looking at those maps and deciding if there's any question about what they're going to do, and make a decision promptly before November 25th. So that's why I bring it up at this point. This is, it's gone on for a couple of years. There've been communication errors. There are always communication errors. So I'm not apologizing for that, but I am saying you have a problem that is going to reflect on a lot of people in this town. And I would respectfully hope that we can find a mutually satisfactory agreement that moves this down the road and signs off on what the town needs to do. Again, this is the only town in the county which has not signed off on the work by SLIC. Thank you.
Thank you, Toby. Do I have the board's permission just to talk about the timeline of this situation? For the record? I just wanted,
Discussing the timeline,
Hmm?
on her discussing the timeline.
know the timeline of when we were notified of the resolution that was passed in March of 23.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's,
So the town never received official notification from the county of a resolution that was passed in March of 2023. We were only notified when Slick notified Stephen in September of this year. So we have to do our due diligence surrounding this entire issue. The board is working on it. We will continue and we support this 100% as far as broadband, Toby. And,
don't doubt
you know,
that.
we,
I'm not questioning that.
right, so as far as playing catch up, I only wish that when the county passed that resolution, and it's wonderful, and the allocations are high, and we support it, but we should have gotten something in April of 2023, and we wouldn't be in this position. So we're doing the best we can, and so I appreciate your going to that meeting, and we'll be further discussing
And
it.
they've been, Slick has been in Morley, but they're on county right away.
Mhm.
But Morley is serviced by Spectrum. And this is money for underserved, people that aren't served. And so I know they went out of Morley into the town of Lisbon. They plowed in Lisbon for probably a mile and a half for customers. But there's dead end road there. One customer at the end of that dead end road, no way in hell she's gonna get service. No. No. And so who you, I mean, you're supposed to be servicing the underserved, but there's one after they plowed now at least a mile and a half to service 4. They couldn't go another half mile to service the only resident left in that area.
Do we know whether that address is on the original spreadsheet and why that may have happened?
I'm sure it is. I mean, they told me they've got the maps, they've got the aerials, they know where the houses are, they know what's being serviced. And so the only option there is to do something, that person has to do something on their own with a, like HughesNet or somebody like that, but.
Understood, but you talk about mistakes being made. We're dealing with thousands of addresses in this county. So if there's a mistake, it needs to be called to the attention. And they've made other changes and other adjustments. I know that for a fact.
I think when we had the discussion with Slick, I think it was pretty much that, I think it might have been the fellow you were talking to. He pretty much said that, that's, you know, we ain't gonna get everybody, and that one there's just a little too far away. We can't, you know, we may get paid to do that, but we're not gonna get enough revenue out of what we're gonna invest in. So that person, is my understanding, isn't gonna get served. So, you know, I still question the whole idea of, you know, there's what, 800,000 the county's putting out there just to Slick alone for underserved, but there's
No,
still,
there's
The total is
considerably more
like
than
three,
that.
it's- I
That's $3
believe
million.
it's a $3 million ARPA
but
for
it
all the
was,
municipalities that they've,
but
yeah.
that was just Slick,
just for Slick,
just, oh, it was 800,000 in Canton. maybe.
right,
Okay,
yeah.
and so, but this year was Lisbon, so, you know, we're still gonna end up with people in this county that are not gonna have, that aren't gonna get any service. And I'm one of them, but I did sit at the table and say, don't even think about trying to bring it to my house, cause I would never live that one down.
Okay, well,
I'll get by.
We'll end on that.
I'll get by.
Is there any other public comment?
I have an,
Oh,
No, you're going.
no,
Megan?
I got a check.
oh,
I got a check from the AMVets. Frank White was giving money out to different places. I got a check for 100 and something from Frank White's estate. Boy Scouts got it. So now if that has to go to you,
Mhm.
because my name is not, it's Canton Historian. So can that go in and I can order more books for the office?
we'll talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm down on the books that we wrote.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
And I
We'll
think
talk
And I think
tomorrow.
I have $75 left in my
All right.
contractual.
So just let us know when you want to bring that up. and we'll talk.
Okay.
Okay, great. Megan, you had a comment?
Yes, so Megan Richardson. I live on Outer Minor Street Road, Woodmere Drive, to be more specific. Also our recreation director. I wanted to just publicly commend Stephen and his crew. Us department heads, we deal with a lot of crap day in and day out, and he has had a rough summer out on Minor Street Road. I know you guys have all dealt with it too. But yeah, we deal with a lot of stuff every day, that we don't put in a report, and, I don't think we get enough credit for how we handle those situations. And, I know you still have a few more things to do, but, you and your crew, you did very well. So
Thank
I
you.
know a lot of people complain, but remember the general, we really appreciate what you do.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I love that road.
All right, any other public comment?
Thank you. Steve.
Okay, with that being said, I need a motion to go into executive session for litigation and past history of a particular individual. I make a motion, we do that. Is there a second?
Lane, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we'll have to call John, and for
You got it?
the
You
session.
got money?
We'll call because, yeah.